Well, hey guys, this is Mark again with My Whistle and Flute, and I'm going to release another lesson today on playing your open-keyed flute. I'm going to use the low D Irish flute as because it's one of my favorites to use, and also easy for you to hear it and see what I'm talking about. The open-keyed flutes, in most cases, come with 6 finger holes. Some flutes, depending on the scale, will have a finger hole in the back, but this open-keyed Irish flute is 6 finger holes on the top. The embouchure is up here, and it is in the D major scale. Now, that means I can play any song in D major. Let's see here. Okay, so in the D major. Now, by finding the subdominant note, D, the root note, also called the tonic note, 4 notes up from D is our subdominant note. So on a D scale, we have D, E, F sharp, G. G is the 4th note of the D major scale, and it's the subdominant note. Now, I can play in the key of G by using one alternate fingering, and that is lowering the C sharp, which from the D scale, to a C natural, which I do by covering, see if you can see here, by covering not the top, but the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th notes. I can make a C natural. So here's the C sharp, all open, C natural, a half step down. So by and you can also do that by half holding this B here as well. So this is the B. This is C sharp. Here's B, and I'm going to half hold it. So here's the C sharp with half hole, or C natural with half hole. Then 3 fingers down. It's the same note, and I just find using that alternate 3-hole fingering is easier than half holding. You can do it whatever way you want. So the G major scale has F sharp but no C sharp. So the G major scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now, since I'm going to use the alternate fingering and play the G scale by starting on G, not all closed, but starting on G. So in that case, I don't play all open because all open is C sharp, and I'm not. So I can play the G scale on a D flute again by finding the subdominant note, which is G. And by the way, I can't remember dominant, subdominant, whatever. If you have a 6-keyed flute and you hold down the first 3 notes, the first 3 holes, you're going to be on the subdominant note. Whatever that note is, it doesn't really matter. I'm just, for those of you who know a little bit more about music theory, that's why I'm naming it. But if you just hold this down, and then instead of playing when you would normally play all open, play that alternate note, it's going to lower the 6th note of the scale, G, A, B, C. It's going to lower that down, or I'm getting my merds mixed up here. But it's going to, by using that alternate fingering, it's going to put you into that G major scale. So, D major, G major. Now, what other 2 keys can you play in? 2 really cool ones, and those are the relative minor keys. Relative minor keys use the exact same key signature as their relative major keys. So that means in the key of D major, we have 2 sharps. In its relative minor key, it's the exact same key signature. It would look like 2 sharps. The difference is the tonic or the beginning note. Now, in the key of D, we find the relative minor by going up the scale to the sixth note of the scale. The sixth note of the scale is where we find our relative minor key. And by starting there and keeping all of the fingerings the same, we'll be in minor. So for D, let's just forget about sharps and flats for a minute and just use the major letter names. D, E, F, G. Oh, I better use my fingers. D, E, F, G, A, B. So B is the sixth note of the D major scale. So B is the relative minor of D. So if without using any alternate fingerings, if I start on B, which is this first hole, I skipped that second to the last note there. Let me do that again. We have that minor scale. So that's a relative minor. No alternate fingerings. Now with G, the sixth note in the G major scale, again, forget about the sharps and flats for a moment. G, A, B, C, D, E. E is the sixth note. Now in this case, instead of going up the flute like we had to do with the B, we're actually going to go back down the flute because E, the root note of E, is right down here on the flute. So we can start one note up from the root note, and by using again the same alternate fingering that we use for the G major scale, we can play in G major's relative minor of E minor. So that's pretty cool, I think. At least I think it's pretty cool. I hope you do. So that means whatever flute you're playing, in this case D major, we have the major key of D that we can play in. We have the subdominant note, which is G, which means we can play in G major. Then we can play in each of those two major scales relative minor of B minor and E minor. So that's pretty cool, I think. And there's even more than that you can do, but that's just something to get you started. The minor key is a lot of fun because it has just it has a minor feel to it, and it's just a lot of fun for improvising. But also there's a lot of popular songs, like for example, The Parting Glass. There's a lot of people that have sung that song and made it popular, so I'm not going to name any particular one of them. But playing in D majors, relative minor, starting up here on B, I can play The Parting Glass. Isn't that cool? I think that's a lot of fun. So again, it doesn't really matter. Now, forget everything I just said and remember this. If you have a major scale flute, the same formula works on every major scale 6-finger open-keyed flute. Basically, here's how you remember it. I can play the major scale of the flute by starting with all closed. If I lift one finger and start from there, using the alternate fingering, I can play a minor key. If I start with the first 3 holes covered, I'm playing on the subdominant major key and again, using the alternate fingering. Starting with the first hole closed, using all the exact same fingerings as the D major, the original key of the flute, I can play in a minor scale from there as well. Every scale on every flute works the same way. So those are 4 different scales that you can play, and I hope I haven't confused you. If I have, ask me a question in the comments. Sometimes what I think is clear in my head isn't clear when I say it, but I hope it is. And I hope you have a lot of fun with your open-keyed flute. If you don't have one and you're interested, go to mywhistleandflute.etsy.com and check out the ones that I have available there. Or whatever open-keyed flute you get, these principles will work the same way. Have a great day, and remember, why make excuses when we can make music? Have a great day. I think I said that twice. Still. Have 2 great days.